Hello and good evening to you. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin here with a check of your First Alert forecast, streaming to you live on ANF Plus. A lot of weather to talk about. We have had a pretty good string of cloud cover today. Rounds of rain that you were probably greeted with out the door in the morning. They moved in 5, 6, 7 a.m. We got a bit of a lull this afternoon. Kept the gloom. Temperatures did warm up just a little bit, and basically it's going to be the same song and dance, quite literally wash, rinse, and repeat as we get into our Saturday first half of the weekend. So we're going to do a couple things here, talk about some subtle changes to the forecast over the past 24 hours from maybe 8 p.m. yesterday on ANF Plus when you spoke with First Alert Meteorologist Patrick Pete. There have been some subtle changes to the outlook. We'll go over those, and then also give you the full and complete hour-by-hour forecast, because one of those changes is that maybe we can actually squeeze a little bit of dry time back into our Saturday forecast. So let's go ahead and dive into it as folks are joining the stream. Want to remind you, we're streaming many platforms right now. Atlanta News First on YouTube. Atlanta News First is the account to like and to follow. If you have any other questions, comments, concerns, that's the place to ask those questions. We're also streaming to you live on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, AtlantaNewsFirst.com, the Atlanta News First app, and in the First Alert weather app. We're taking a live look right now. First Alert radar. It is mostly dry, but occasionally see just a little bit of moisture, a little blip of green or two kind of traveling from southwest to north and east this evening. And some of the moisture, some of that drizzle is actually, those clouds are so low, they're kind of sneaking in underneath the radar beam. So it is possible that even though radar doesn't show much, there could still be a little bit of a rain, a little bit of drizzle around this evening. But the big story is going to be our Saturday potential for widespread rain, probably a few different rounds of rain, beginning even early tomorrow morning. Before we get to the forecast model latest data coming in, let's talk about what it looks like outside, what it feels like for those for the evening plans. Outside right now, Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. The tower there lit up in red, a gorgeous evening, better visibility than what we had earlier. It was socked in with low clouds, fog, and drizzle earlier today and this evening. But right now, a little clearer. Still the clouds, though. 64 in Atlanta, some warmer air sneaking in from the south and west. But look at Lawrenceville, 51. So a 13-degree difference between Lawrenceville and Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. That is the wedge of cooler air eroding away, of course, warming up from southwest to north and east. So our towns on the northeast side tending to be cooler. North side as well, Marietta at 56, Noonan 60, though at times has been warmer than that. One activity that some may be doing this evening, going out to look at Christmas lights. Yeah, we have some sprinkles, lots of clouds, but in general, a decent forecast. Not a washout, just a 20% chance of rain. Through the evening hours, temperatures nearly steady, upper 50s and lower 60s. Again, considering the time of year and the time of day, it is relatively mild outside right now, so not too worried about any sort of need for heavy winter coats. Certainly not miserably cold or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. Could be a sprinkle or two, but in general, forecast is pretty decent for the outdoor activities this evening. Maybe dinner plans, drink plans, going to look at Christmas lights, trying to run some errands, go to the grocery store, that sort of stuff. We're looking okay. Here's the forecast model, and again, there is that potential for a spotty shower or two, quick moving, relatively light. As we get into the wee hours of tomorrow morning, here we are. First alert is in place, 6 a.m. So even trying to get maybe your longer weekend run in early in the morning, you could be dealing with some rain. Cleveland-Randolph County is going to get in on the wet weather action first. Rome, so Floyd County, Chattooga County, down to Heard County and Troup County, and the south and southwest sides of the metro in general, the first to kind of catch in on some of this rain. Damp weather moving into the city, 7, 8, 9 a.m. And again, this is just one run of one forecast model. It could waffle around a little bit with specifics here, but just want to let you know this is the gist of it, and that is that there will be a few different rounds of rain tomorrow, but exact timing, the exact arrival for your neighborhood could still, fluctuate a little bit, but we're going to give you the window of morning, 6, 7, 8 a.m., some rain, at least light rain moving in, and then a general window, some slightly better weather as we get into the afternoon. Again, we're going to bring you back into the afternoon hours, same forecast model here. Notice how we might try to get a bit of a break, 11 a.m., noon, 1 p.m., and then as we get into mid and late afternoon, rain tries to move back in. So at any given time, a half of the area could be seeing rain, and one half of the area could be dealing with just a few sprinkles and lots of clouds. Really just depends on where you are at any given particular moment in North Georgia tomorrow. Good idea and a good reason to have the First Alert weather app. So for outside a newscast, you can still see where it's raining, where the rain is going, and what your neighborhood forecast is. Just make sure your location settings are set to follow me tomorrow. especially if you're driving around town, around the metro, because weather may vary just a little bit depending on exactly where you are. And also make sure you have those precipitation alerts turned on tomorrow. Might as well have the lightning alerts as well, as a couple of these showers could be accompanied by occasional lightning and thunder. Hour-by-hour forecast bringing you into your Saturday evening. Rain, I think, does eventually build back in a more widespread and maybe slightly heavier sense. Case in point, here we are, 10 p.m., at least scattered showers and a couple of embedded thunderstorms possible here. Some of the rain tomorrow evening could be on the heavy side. We'll keep that first alert going. Not that 100% of the area is going to get poured on, but there will be rain across the entire area, and at times and in places, some of that rain will be on the heavy side. So again, if you're headed out to one of the big things going on tomorrow, so much is going on. Of course, big football game. Everyone knows about it at this point. Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Olympic Centennial, some of that crowd spilling out there as well in adjacent areas. Alabama and Georgia. Kickoff is 4 p.m. We're going to have that chance of showers through the duration of tailgating and the game. Of course, the game is inside, so it's really the outside of Mercedes-Benz activities that will be impacted, and you do need to plan if you are planning on heading outside and tailgating for some rain. Hoping for some breaks for you, and there probably will be some breaks, but certainly the potential of rain on through that time period. So if you are headed to the game, umbrellas if you can bring them. Again, depending on what venue you're going into, where you are, that may not be allowed. At the very least, a rain jacket, rain alerts turned on, and lightning alerts turned on. In the First Alert weather app, it's free and easy to download. Just search, or scan rather, that QR code upper right-hand corner of the screen. I don't think it's going to rain constantly. In fact, I really don't think it will rain constantly through that time period, but there will be rain around in that point between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. The vast majority of your Saturday, there will be rounds of rain impacting different parts of the region through the day. As I mentioned, First Alert Weather App, a good tool. Here's how you can turn on those specific alerts. Again, home screen, that's what it looks like. The three lines looks like 3 sheets of paper stacked on top of each other in the upper right-hand corner. That is going to be to access your settings menu or your general settings menu. And then once you see that pop up, click on settings. And make sure tomorrow, you don't need severe weather alerts turned on, but precipitation and lightning would be useful so you can see where rain is in relation to you. And you can be alerted to lightning and heavier rain approaching your plans tomorrow. All right, 7-day forecast. As we've talked extensively about, First Alert Saturday due to rain having a pretty high likelihood of at least minorly impacting outdoor plans. A day in which you will need to pay extra attention to the weather if you plan on going outside for an extended period of time, because rain will be a factor. Temperatures nearly steady. We might fall into the upper 50s tonight, but in reality, I just don't think we're going to fall too much more than where we are right now. So if you're around 60 now, you're going to wake up to around 60 degrees tomorrow morning. If you're in the low to mid 50s up in Lawrenceville, for example, you may wake up a little warmer tomorrow morning, maybe upper 50s to near 60. If you're on the southwest side of town, mid 60s, you probably will wake up to low to mid 60s out the door tomorrow morning and roughly sit there through the day. Temperatures may fluctuate by a handful of degrees, but certainly not a big rise or drop in that temperature. Saturday night. Sunday, we warm up just a little more, drying out in the afternoon, but some cooler air also starts to filter in. That'll kind of cap how warm we get, that 40% chance of rain in the early morning hours. And then after about 8 a.m. or so, first drying out, then clearing out. Seasonably cool, but yeah, we'll call it chilly. Jacket weather Monday and Tuesday. Shot at some mid and upper 30s Tuesday morning. And then as we get into our middle of the week, even colder air filters in. And it's looking like Wednesday. It's going to be a cold day. Sunshine, yeah, but with the wind factored in, struggling to get to 50 degrees. It'll feel like winter. And then as the wind settles down, sky remains clear, and that cold air really settles in. We're talking about a widespread freeze as we get into our Thursday morning. Perhaps another frost and or light freeze as we get into Friday morning, though in the city, I think more of a frost than a freeze threat. And then starting to warm back up as we get into Friday on into the following weekend. And after Sunday morning, no real rain in the forecast. In fact, a solid stretch of dry weather Sunday afternoon, Monday afternoon, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday afternoons. In fact, the weather looks relatively quiet heading into at least the start of next weekend, and then possibly some bigger changes on the way with a greater chance of rain in the First Alert forecast and maybe a more active storm system impacting parts of the Mid-South and the Southeast as we get into the following weekend, even more so early the following work week. Doesn't look like we have any questions coming in. Again, pretty straightforward forecast. Plan on rain tomorrow, but fingers crossed, I'll do it for you. you don't have rain all day at your particular plans. It was at one point looking like it would rain almost from sunup to sundown all day long on Saturday. Now looking like there will be some breaks, in particular mid to late morning, early afternoon possibly for Atlanta, and then maybe another mid-afternoon break after some early afternoon showers, and then everyone turns stormier again as we get into Saturday evening. A day in which you need to keep a closer eye than normal on the First Alert forecast for those plans. You can do so on the go in the First Alert weather app. Want to remind you, First Alert meteorologist Fred Campagna is back with a full First Alert forecast this evening, coming up in just a little bit. Of course, Atlanta News First on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW affiliate. He'll be breaking down the First Alert rounds of rain that are forecast to return on your Saturday into Saturday night and early Sunday. And he'll have the latest forecast as well coming up for you tonight on the late news, 11 p.m. on WANF. We'll leave you with another look at that 7-day forecast. Have a great evening, and again, stay in touch with Fred this evening. New data coming in. He'll be updating that forecast starting at 10 p.m.